Hey there, are you grieving the potential loss of a loved one or feeling overwhelmed with the loss of someone you care about? If so, you're in the right place. Lisa Hartung here, and this podcast is designed to guide you through topics surrounding death and dying. We'll dive into multifaceted aspects of grief, offering you a blend of personal stories, expert insights, and practical advice for your grief journey. May this be a safe space for you to learn, listen, and ask questions about your own life and loved ones. So grab your favorite beverage and let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back for another week with the Giving Grief Grace podcast. So it is super exciting to share that we've been going strong since May 2025, and now we're in August of 2025, and I realize I haven't come on and done a solo episode yet. This is just for us to connect and for me to share a little bit about my experience and what I learned. While I'm not an expert in grief, I have lived it. And sometimes those lived experiences are really important, and we have valuable takeaways that might help other people who are going through similar things. So when I was caregiving for my mom, who passed away from pancreatic cancer back in the fall of 2022, I was looking for some resources. What do I do? How do I move through this? I was really having a hard time of finding that. So that's part of why Giving Grief Grace was created, is to help other people who are caregiving and who are at the end of their lives. So I thought today we could focus on 5 things that might help caregivers as they're navigating this journey. So the first one is to put your oxygen mask on first. And we know this, we've heard it a million times. People always say, oh, you should do something for yourself. But when you are in it and you are the caregiver 24/7, you're like, no, I can't. If I leave, they'll fall. Or, maybe their meds won't get taken. And I cannot suggest enough to just, even if it's just 1 minute. So one thing that was really helpful for me is square breathing. I learned this in yoga teacher training, and it's really to help just regulate your nervous system and calm yourself down. And it takes less than a minute. So let's try it together. If you are sitting, just close your eyes. If you're standing, go ahead and close your eyes as long as you're in a safe space. And then just take a couple deep breaths. And so with square breathing, we'll breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. So we'll try that now. In, hold, release, hold. And I don't know about you, but that just gave me an automatic calm down. And if that's all you can do for today for yourself, then good, you've done it. Congratulations. And I truly suggest just getting outside, trying something, even if it's a walk out in the sunshine. So mom passed away in September. We're in August now. I have an almost 1-year-old. I'm standing washing the dishes, and it's been kind of a 24/7. I've got this not newborn, right? She's almost a year at this stage, but she's screaming in the background. I'm trying to wash the dishes. I'm looking outside. I see this beautiful sun coming through the trees. The trees are just billowing in the wind. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just need to get outside. My husband and my mother-in-law are in the apartment with us that we rented to help for caregiving with my mom. And the laundry machine is going off. My child is crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm washing dishes. Like, how can I fill my own cup up? And I said, you know what? I just need to go outside just for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, okay? And I knew that I needed to go and relieve my dad of caregiving duties. So I had to leave the apartment and go. And I said, you know what? First, I just need to go. I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk or run. I leave the house, I go into the woods, and I go down a path I haven't been before. And lo and behold, there's this beautiful bridge that overlooks a babbling brook, and the sun is coming down perfectly right on the bridge. And I said, that's my spot. And I sat down and I just breathed. And
I sat there and I prayed that mom would be okay and that we would be able to get through this. And I knew I didn't have a ton of time, but that was filling my cup up. And I was just there very quickly. But what a delight amidst a day where I was then rushing back to the apartment to grab my car to go drive to mom and dad's house to then help mom with, her meds and getting dressed and getting showered and all of that. And had I not taken those 10 minutes, I don't think I would have been able to get through the day. So, this is just a PSA. Please take care of yourself. And if that's not every day, then that's okay. You can at least do the square breathing, or you can at least just go outside, breathe in, feel the sunlight on your face, and then know that you are okay. And I will say, people asked me after the whole experience, what's one thing you learned? And I said, the body is resilient. Your soul perseveres, and when you think you are broken or you've reached the bottom, your body still supports you. And your mind may be in a different place, but let your heart be there and let yourself just frame your mind so that you can feel like you can get back in and live your life, right? And not just pausing for a second, being present really helps fill your cup up. And laugh. Like, what joyful things can you bring? Is there 5 minutes of joy that you can bring to your life? Can you listen to your favorite song? Do a little dance in the kitchen? If you are in a place where you can't go anywhere, maybe you lock yourself in the bathroom and just say, "Yep, I'm just going to the bathroom real quick." And you just scroll on your phone mindlessly for 5 minutes because that's what you need to do. Whatever is going to fill your cup up, please do it. So that's number one. Number two, moments matter. So PanCan, the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, came out with this tank top when my mom was sick called Moments Matter, and it's purple, has PanCan on the back. My sister and I bought matching ones, and every time we wore them, it was a reminder that yes, mom was going to have her good days and her bad days, but we wanted to cherish those moments. So if mom was having a bad day, we knew that we could make it better. And is that through a FaceTime with her granddaughter so she could laugh and coo? Is it us just sitting quietly by your bedside and holding her hand, right? Being present and supporting your loved one in whatever state they're in is so important. Is it bringing them outside so that they can hear the birds singing? Or one thing my mom loved to do was sit on the back deck at our summer house. And even though she wasn't able to go down to the water, she could still hear kids laughing and playing at the water. And that brought her so much inner joy. And just being able to sit out on the porch with her, feel the sun on ourselves, and feel that joy was such a gift. And, these moments where we just slow down and we're with our loved one, maybe that's, doing a puzzle together. It's just priceless. Again, listening to music and telling stories. It's so important to tell those happy stories in life because they just have such magic, and that long-term memory usually stays with us for longer than the short-term memory. So it's helpful, depending on what age your loved one is, to bring back some of those fun stories about life. And just being able to share that with them, and personal touch is so helpful as well. So, being physically present for those moments, or, just laying and cradling them, while I hate the saying like it's gonna be okay, because it's never gonna be okay, right? Like our loved one is passing away in front of our eyes, and I really hate that saying, and so I try not to say it that often. But know that things, while it's not going to be okay, you have to go through the, someone once told me that the dawn it's always darkest before dawn. And that's really what losing a loved one felt like for me. It was very, very dark time. And then after the fact, I was so grateful for the moments that we shared together and how intentional we were in making those moments matter. And how can we, level up those moments in any capacity? And it's just the little things in life, just celebrating it like, oh, okay. Um, we're gonna have cookies today. It's not on the diet plan, but that's what she wants, and so we're gonna have cookies. We're gonna eat ice cream. She loves ice cream. All right. No, they can't eat potato chips because it's bad. Well, you know what? She took some creatine, which for pancreatic cancer, it helps break down. Not creatine. I'm blanking on the medication that she had to take, but it's a pill that you take and it helps you digest your food. So just making those moments matter, right? If she wants the food, give it to her. So that's making the moments matter. Number three is living with no regrets. So one thing as people are near the end of their life, going through the life review is real. And so you want to help your loved one feel like they're at peace with the decisions that they made and that you as a caregiver can kind of help them with that process. Are there any relationships that they are really feeling negative about? Any conversations that could be had? I know that my mom had kind of a disagreement with a neighbor at our summer house. And so we talked through those situations and I helped her craft an email to this individual. And she just felt like a huge burden had lifted, like she was clearing the air and allowing that peace to come in. And I think that sometimes as caregivers are caring for parents or siblings, children, or any individual, if you have ever had a frustrating conversation with that person as the caregiver and you're, caring for the person who's passing or in the process of passing, clear the air, like just let it go and talk through it and be okay saying, I'm really sorry that when I was 6, I told you to go climb a tree or whatever it was. Like, you say, I'm sorry for being such a sassy teenager, mom. Like I didn't mean to to run you through the ringer. And we repaired our relationship much better, but just making amends in any way possible is really helpful in helping them make amends. Is that someone that they haven't talked to in years, that it was a family rift that happened 20 years ago, 40 years ago, that just needs to be cleared up. Just help them on that. And it'll help you as well. Feel that light and that lifted light. So living with no regrets, right? Making sure that we can make right whatever we can in those final days. And then number 4 is lean on your support network. So people want to help and sometimes they just don't know what to do. And quite frankly, I'll tell you, like, I had no clue what I needed or what support I needed. And people were, so kind. And they say, oh, like, I'm happy to help however I can. Like, let me know if I can do anything for you. And I really struggle with those words because I really didn't have the brain capacity or the brain space or the energy to think about, like, what did I actually need? So this is just, if you have some time, maybe when you've locked yourself in your bathroom and you're scrolling on your phone, just think about what are 2 things that would really help me out today? Is that someone bringing a meal? Is that someone bringing your loved one to the hospital or going to pick up medication? Or is it going to pick up cookies or flowers? Because that's what's going to bring joy into the house. I think being really specific in your asks to people. So people say, reach out and say, hey, how can I help? And you saying, great, thank you so much. I actually would really love a casserole. And if you could bring it over at 6 p.m. on Thursday, that would really help me out. Or if you're someone that wants to drop off a gift card, people can always use gift cards. I personally struggled with gift cards because then I was like, well, now it's analysis paralysis. Like there's too many decisions that I have to make. Like, which restaurant is it? And then there's too many options on the menu. So just pick one and give it to me and I'll eat it and I'll be happy. Everyone's different. So you'll know your friends and family that you're helping with. But one thing that was really sweet was my girlfriends knew that my mom and I were artists or are artists. And so they put together a care package of painting supplies and art supplies that my mom and I, used. And then whenever anyone came to visit, we would say, "Hey, do you want to do some art with us? Here are some notebooks." And we would just sit, play some of mom's favorite music, and we would create art with them. And what a great way to bring a somber time into a more happy experience where we're creating together, right? That play, I think as adults, we very rarely engage in play. And so by just having that creative juice flowing amidst this really challenging time was super helpful for us. So just a thought for you. And then, so that's like externally when people ask. So always just have a couple things that you can think about. I think meals, transportation, and gift cards are always helpful. Something that people can consume. And on earlier episodes of Giving Grief Grace, people have said no flowers, please. But if you could plant a flower in the ground and that could grow, I think that's really a sweet way to help someone too, because who doesn't love a garden full of flowers or plants? The second part to this leaning on your network is if you have a nervous Nellie or an anxious Alex that's in your life, give them something to do. Allow them to take action. And so I say this because, nearing the end of my mom's life, she was really just tired and just low energy. And my dad, we love him so much, and I'm so grateful for him and all of the light that he brings to our lives. But sometimes when he gets anxious, he just starts pacing. He's one of those people that's always tapping his fingers or shaking his leg. And, it really got to mom at the end of her life. And so we are preparing to go somewhere as a family. My dad's pacing up and down. Mom is just trying to muster enough energy to get up and out. And I'm like anxiously or furiously trying to paint her nails because she loved having her nails painted. So, mom and I are doing the little spa girls day, and dad's just kind of, nervously walking around us. So mom looks at me and she winks and she goes, "Hey, honey, could you go grab my wig, please?" And so he's in the other room. "Well, where's your wig?" "You'll find it, honey. Go look for it." So he goes for like 10 minutes. And mom just looked at me and she laughed and she pointed to her head, and the wig was on her head. And so she just wanted to give dad something to do. And so he comes back 10 minutes later. "I can't find your wig." And she goes, "Oh my goodness. It was on my head the whole time." And so, just like the act of being able to feel like you are helping out is so helpful. And so then he came back and she goes, "Oh, it's on my head the whole time." And so then she's looking around and she finds her water glass and it's half full. And she goes, "You know what, honey? I could really use some more water. Could you get some for me?" And that allowed him to help out by getting her some more water. And maybe she didn't need it, but again, it was just something menial that he could help with, and that then would allow mom the space to fully enjoy her mani-pedi with me. Just giving someone actions to take. If they're kind of nervously around you, just give them something to do. Maybe you need the trash taken out, or one day we were like, "Can you organize all of the Tupperware tops and bottoms?" Because I don't know any family that has them all organized all the time. So it seems like they never fit the spots, and there's always an extra top or an extra bottom. So yeah, maybe it's organizing the Tupperware. If your individual is on hospice, then there are people that will come in and help in the home as well, and you can give them random to-dos like that. So leaning on your support network. And last but not least is listen. I read the book, or I guess I sobbed through the book, called Final Gifts, and it's by Maggie Callahan and Patricia Kelly. And I've talked about this book before, but I cannot say enough how helpful this one book was. It's called Final Gifts, and they're hospice nurses writing about the transition from earthly presence to transitioning to passing away and what happens next. And this book was suggested to our family at the end of my mom's life. My dad got it, my dad read it, I read it, and then my mom was very curious and she was like, I want to read it too. And I gave it to her. I'm not sure if she actually ever read it, but she was very curious of like, what does end of life look like? What am I going to feel? There's a lot of questions there. And as the caregiver, it's so important to listen. So my biggest takeaway from this book was that your loved one will drop hints to when they are going to die. And there's like an intrinsic knowing. At least this is what I've learned from the book and from talking to other people. So you may have other experiences as well, but I I'll tell you, I'll give this an example. So I read this book and I'm like, okay, I'm now hyper aware of anything my mom says and any actions she takes or any potential signs that she could be giving us. Because at the end of her life, she was more nonverbal and just giving us cues and hints and, words here and there. So I'm sitting chatting with her, talking about my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer the same week my daughter was born. She was given 12 months to live. So here we are, fast forward 12 months or 11 and a half months. I have the conversation with mom about my daughter's birthday. And I said, okay, mom, it's on Tuesday. And this is, a week before at this point in time. I said, okay, birthday's coming up on Tuesday. What do you think about celebrating it? And she was like, nope, I really think we need to celebrate it earlier than that. And I said, okay, great. How about Saturday night? She was like, no, that's a little too late. I said, okay, well, our friends and family work, so could we do Friday night? And she thought about it and she goes, I think Friday would work. Fast forward to Friday. We have mom's favorites. We have corn on the cob. She taught my daughter how to eat the cob and like get all of the kernels off. I've got a cute picture of the two of them doing that. They had watermelon. We had cake and ice cream because it was, we're celebrating a birthday. My mom had gone and picked out the cutest little reversible, it was like a pink jacket with little zebras on it, and it was reversible so you could wear it both ways, and she just could not wait to give this cute little jacket to my daughter. So we have our ice cream, blow out the candles, she gives the gift to my daughter, we do puzzles, we go to bed. The next day, Saturday, mom is with us, but not really. Her siblings all come to say goodbye. We have other family members come to say goodbye. Sunday, she is nonverbal and she's really sleeping pretty much the whole day. Monday happens and she passes away on like first thing Monday morning. Tuesday was my daughter's birthday. What a gift she gave us by telling us to celebrate on Friday night. I think back to that day and I'm so grateful that I read this book, Final Gifts, and I was able to take those learnings and apply them directly to our situation. Had I not, I might have been like, no, mom, we're going to wait till Tuesday for Maeve's birthday, and she wouldn't have been there. So that was like her last final wish, was to be present for my daughter's birthday. And she was, and we had such a good time and she was able to fully enjoy it. And so I say that just for others, please read the book. There might be something that could really help you on your journey, and just listen. They'll give you cues and they may say things about loved ones. They may talk about people that have passed as they're in the present. So there's definitely something going on with the other side in the communication. And so very intrigued in that whole realm as well. And I'm sure some more hospice nurses could chat with you about that as well. But I wanted to just share those kind of life experiences because I hope that they help you in some part of your journey. So just in summary, put your oxygen mask on first. So vitally important. Next, cherish the moments because they matter. Make the most of each day because we never know if we have tomorrow or what's going to happen. Next is release regrets. Like, lift the burdens. Don't hold back. Be honest. Share your love. Help them release theirs. 4 is lean on your support network. They are there for you through and through. Give people specific things that they can do for you. If you've got that nervous Nelly that's around, that's super helpful and super loving, but they just need a task, maybe they could go fold the laundry. And the last but not least, 5 is listen. So your loved one will drop hints and cues and clues as to when the end is near. So I hope that these were helpful, both for you as the caregiver and as individuals who are nearing the ends of their life. I suggest taking a read to the book. I'll leave a link in the show notes. But thank you so much for following along and for listening to the podcast. As always, I love hearing from you, so please leave a review, follow us. Training for the New York City Marathon is going really well. There's still time to support, so please do. There's a link in the show notes to my fundraising page. And I so appreciate your support, your love, and I'll see you next time. Have a great week.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Giving Grief Grace. If you found the content interesting and think it could help a friend or a loved one, please share it with them. Subscribe to this podcast and get a weekly dose of positivity. And while you're at it, please leave a review. If you enjoyed the show and want to support me financially on my grief journey, I'm raising funds for Project Purple, a nonprofit whose mission is to see a world without pancreatic cancer. I'm doing this by running the New York City Marathon in November 2025, and I'll leave a link to my fundraising page in the show notes. If you've lost a loved one and are looking for support in an online community, consider joining our free private Facebook group, Giving Grief Grace. May you be kind to yourself in the week ahead and give yourself grace. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.